What's up guys, it's Patricia from TarantulaHeaven.com. We've got Miss Spidey in the back here. She is tracking down a cockroach, so maybe she will get it. And maybe she will come to the front of the tank so you guys can see her. Anyway, thank you for coming to this video. If you're new here, I make tarantula videos every single week for Tarantula Tuesday. And if you are not new, thank you for coming back. Today we're going to talk about why you should choose the most expensive shipping for your tarantulas when you are buying a tarantula. I think this is something that can get past beginners who maybe don't know the ins and outs of what it takes and what you have to do when you buy a new tarantula for the first time. You know, if you have bought an expensive tarantula and then you add to cart, you get to the end of the process and then you look at the shipping prices, you could really be tempted to choose the cheapest one because, hey, you've just spent all this money on a new tarantula and you have to get its tank decor, you've got to buy a tank and all that. So it's really tempting to want to cut corners and save money here, but you should actually be doing the exact opposite. Now, my more seasoned tarantula owners are going to know this, but this is important for the beginners because it's a common mistake. And I don't want to see any of you have trouble and go through having a dead tarantula or an injured tarantula when you get your first tarantula. So this is why you should be choosing the most expensive shipping option when you buy a tarantula online. So first, there are a lot of things to take into account when you're ordering online. If some of these are factors, you may want to see if there's a local exotic shop that you can go to instead. Now, during coronavirus, this might be challenging, but it's good to look into because this might actually be a better option depending on the logistics of where you live. So the first thing is that you want to make sure that the person you are ordering a tarantula from is a reputable source and they're legit. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a tarantula Facebook group, somebody posting screenshots of somebody who has scammed them. This happens so much and it's really sad. This is where the hobby goes wrong sometimes. So definitely make sure that this is somebody who has a reputation, maybe somebody who has a legitimate website, somebody who has reviews. Definitely ask other tarantula owners in the group or on arachnid boards and things like that if they've had experience with this seller. I would definitely also ask other tarantula owners where they get them from. And then you also want to make sure that any reputable seller should have some sort of disclosure or like insurance on their tarantulas. So what you're looking for is an agreement on their site that says that their tarantula is guaranteed, if you order it from them, to arrive on time and alive and safely if you choose an expensive shipping option, which ensures the best possible outcome for your order. And any reputable seller will either refund or replace your order if it happens to not get there in good condition, if you've chosen a fast shipping option. A lot of times if you have chosen a slower shipping option, the tarantula breeder or seller or dealer will not give you this guarantee because that guarantee is really only good for, I guess, 24 hours or so, because if it happens to get stuck in the mail or lost because you chose a cheaper shipping option, the seller's not going to be responsible for that. So that's a big reason why you want to choose expensive shipping, so that you can get that kind of like insurance and agreement on your order. You also want to think about some logistical stuff. So ordering a tarantula during a pandemic may have different challenges than ordering a tarantula when we're not in a pandemic. One thing that we've learned is that the mail has gotten really screwed up. Even if you choose fast shipping with a lot more people ordering packages, especially during the holiday season, things can get messed up. So maybe you want to hold off till we get out of the holiday season, or you want to kind of hold off on any major purchases for the next few months until things calm down. Because when the postal system gets overloaded, sometimes it's just out of our control. The other thing is the weather conditions. So a lot of people will kind of wait until they get out of extreme weather conditions or seasons to order a tarantula or other live animals. So if you live in a place where it's really cold or winter, or even a place that is really, really warm during certain times of the year, that might not be a good time to order a tarantula. This puts a lot of pressure on the seller to either use things like heat packs or things like that to keep the tarantula safe. And sometimes even with all of those things intact and done very well, things can still happen, especially if like there's a lot of really bad weather and the package gets lost in the mail and the spider burns to a crisp because the heat packs were in there too long. So I don't know, a lot of stuff can happen. So we want to be able to choose the most calm and obstacle-free way for your tarantula to get to you. You may also consider shipping from a local dealer. So if you cannot go to a local pet store, but there is a breeder or dealer or seller somewhere in your state or somewhere close to you, that package will probably get to you a lot faster and more successfully than if you were ordering a tarantula across the country. So that's something else to take into consideration. Now, accidents do happen, of course. They can in any scenario, especially in a time where there's so many uncertain circumstances like the weather, like the pandemic, like postal service issues. But for the things that we can control, it's good to take all of these things into consideration. We do not want our tarantulas shipped in bad conditions where we know that something will likely get messed up. You don't want to take that chance because your purchases are expensive, and I know that you care about these animals. And I want to make sure that your tarantula gets to you healthy and safely and quickly because I know that you're excited. The last point I want to make is what you can do on your part is making sure that you're actually home to get your tarantula. So this is not a time to go on a vacation if you're expecting a live animal. It is not a time to be away from home. Packages get stolen, or your mail carrier might have to return it because you weren't home to receive it. And so you want to make sure that you are ready if your tarantula is supposed to come that day. And you want to be tracking your packages and just staying up to date. Don't be negligent, because if your tarantula was getting delivered to you and then it got sent back into the postal service because they couldn't leave it for whatever reason, then that's on you. And I don't know if that tarantula is going to make it back to you again alive. And that is not the seller's fault either. So you have to do your part. And my other tip, just for the safety of the tarantula, have the enclosure already set up. The tarantula has traveled in very stressful conditions and maybe not so nice conditions. They are probably weak, dehydrated, and scared. Do not make them wait any longer in that cardboard box or whatever they've been shipped in. Make sure that when you get the tarantula, they are prepared. You can put them in the tank and give them water as soon as possible. And you don't want your tarantulas out in the sun or cold just waiting for you to get them out of their cardboard thing and into the house. So please, please, please do your part to do your research, to choose the best circumstances and logistics for your tarantula to arrive to you well and in good shape. And do your part to be prepared for this new addition to your family and your collection. So I hope that was helpful. Do any of you more experienced tarantula owners have any other tips that might help the newer tarantula owners as they are looking to buy tarantulas online? I would love to hear it, and I would totally appreciate your feedback if I left anything out. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week for Tarantula Tuesday. Bye.